This is Helping of Happiness, episode number 132. Today we are talking to Lindy from Enoch Studies, and she is teaching us how to help our family open and understand and love the scriptures. Hi, I'm Hillary Hess, and you're listening to Helping of Happiness. I'm a Christian mom of 7 kids who loves to build memories through eating tasty family recipes and going on fun adventures with my family. On this podcast, I'm introducing you to the light-filled people and ideas who inspire me to be a better mom and help me bring my family closer together and closer to Jesus Christ. Hello, welcome back. It's so good to have you with us today. Today we have Lindy on, and I'm super excited for you guys to meet her. She is just so full of enthusiasm for the scriptures. It's so much fun. I wanted to tell you just a little bit about her and her business, Enoch Studies. So Enoch Studies, their whole goal is helping your family to open and understand and love the scriptures. And she provides these kits and weekly activities and printables to supplement a Sunday school curriculum called Come Follow Me. And Come Follow Me is like a family-centered Sunday school curriculum, and they have weekly lessons. And this has been super helpful for us during COVID because we haven't had in-person Sunday school for our family or our kids. And so we've really loved following along with Come Follow Me. There's reading assignments throughout the week, and then there's discussion questions and things like that to have with your family. The thing that's a little bit of a struggle is that it's a little bit hard to tailor to all the different age groups in my family sometimes because we've got our 7 kids, ages 3 to 19, and sometimes it's hard to kind of catch the attention of the little ones and the teenagers at the same time. And so I really love what Lindy is doing because she's creating these kits that are for kids and for youth and for adults, and it's super awesome. So I'm going to link up to this curriculum in case you're interested in it. Last year we studied the New Testament, and this year we're studying the Book of Mormon, which is another testament of Jesus Christ. And it's been really amazing, and I've learned so much, even though I feel like this is things I've been studying my whole life, being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But it's still just been really interesting to learn the gospel in a whole new way and to dive into the scriptures. So Enoch Studies is the name of Lindy's company. So I wanted to just give you a brief, quick thing about who Enoch was in the city of Enoch, this prophet. You've probably heard this story in the Bible, but if you forgot or you're unfamiliar, Enoch was a prophet, and he was right around the time of Noah, like Noah in the Ark Noah. And most people were really wicked on the earth. And Enoch was a really powerful teacher. He led the righteous people, and they built this city called Zion where they lived. And it was just this wonderful place where everybody was kind, and they lived in where there was no poor among them. And they were so righteous that before the flood happened, that God took Enoch and the people of Zion all up into heaven before the water started to come down from the sky. So that is the story that Enoch Studies was named after. And she mentions a few other scripture stories during our discussion. And I don't want you to feel like you're in the dark, that you haven't heard these before. Maybe there's one about Captain Moroni and a man named Pahoran. And then she talks another story about the Jaredites. For the sake of you not just hearing story upon story upon story from me before we get started, I'm going to link these up in the show notes so that you can read them later if you're not familiar with them. I'll link up to the children's version of the story that is a little more simplified, and then I'll also link up to the actual where you can find it in the scriptures. And that way you can be, knowing what we're talking about if you want to look at that later. Also, I wanted to tell you about one of my favorite apps. It's called the Gospel Library app, and it's free, and it's amazing. It has the Bible in there. It has the Book of Mormon. It has hundreds of years of information and inspirational words and talks, and it's just so great. There's so many things that your family can do. They even have a section where you can play and listen to the hymns or other inspirational music. There's videos for kids to watch about the different Bible stories, or even just different values and principles. It's just full of all kinds of amazingness. So if you're looking for a great app to use with your family, I really, really recommend that one. It's really well organized and I love it. So, and one last thing, if you are interested in having a copy of the Book of Mormon, let me know. I can get one to you. I would love to get you a Book of Mormon, or even talk if you want to learn more about our church. I can get you in touch with our missionaries. My daughter is a missionary right now in California, and she just spends her whole day teaching about Jesus Christ and giving messages of love and peace. And if you would love to be hooked up with the missionaries in your area, I would be happy to arrange that for you. So without any further ado, let's meet Lindy. Well, I'm super excited today to introduce you to my new friend, Lindy Schock from Enoch Studies. Lindy's got some amazing products and just some really neat projects that she's working on. But before we get into all of that, I would love, Lindy, for you to introduce yourself to everybody. Hey, Lindy.
Hello. Thank you for having me here.
Oh my goodness. I'm just so happy that you could squeeze us in with all this really cool stuff that you're creating right now. So before we get into the content, will you tell us just a little about you and about your family and what you do?
Yes. So I am a mom of 3 little girls.
Oh, I had 3 girls in my family growing up. I'm the oldest
you do?
of 3 girls. Yes.
It's so fun. It's an adventure. So my oldest is 6, and then 4, and then 1. So
oh my gosh. So you're right in the thick of everyone needing you all the time.
Yes, I barricaded myself.
Caution tape,
yes.
all the things.
So yeah, and then my husband, he has a unique job where he's able to do remodels in the temples.
Cool.
Yeah, so he does kind of the wall treatment, and then some of the gold leafing and the painting. So he's the one that sands down the walls to make them super smooth, and then paints them, and then does the detail work.
Wow. So all those tedious details that I'm just like, let's just gloss over this and keep going.
Yeah, where he spends 13 hours just sanding the wall. Yeah, but he loves it. He gets a chance to see a lot of cool temples. So
that is so cool. So does he go from project to project, or is he just do some in a certain area, or he just goes all over the world?
He has a few temples that call him back every shutdown. The Las Vegas, Provo. But he's gone to Chicago and Billings, Montana, and he's looking at St. George and Logan right now. And he worked in the Salt Lake Temple for about 2.5 years.
Wow.
So
yeah. Incredible. So incredible.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about Enoch Studies. What is this? What's your mission behind it? And how did this all get started?
Yes. So when Come Follow Me came out, I had this crazy idea that I wanted to come up with some kind of study helps. And at that time, it was more geared towards teens and adults, which is the way my brain works. But I have a friend I was talking to, and he said, oh, I was doing some coloring pages for my primary class because his wife's the primary president. So he is a primary teacher, which I think is so great. And I said, maybe we should join up. He said, I think I want to do coloring pages like every other week just to help my class. And I said, well, maybe we should go in this direction, and would you want to join me? So that's kind of how it started. And then some of Enoch Studies, the name comes from the city of Enoch, kind of the idea of we all help each other to make it to that next great step, right? And that's kind of the community feel behind it, is just the city of Enoch. Let's all help each other grow and progress. And then our mission has turned into more towards families instead of adult study. It's more towards families. So my goal is to have one lesson a week that involves the whole family, the youngs, the littles, and the bigs, so that mom can create a lesson, or mom and dad, parents can create a lesson, and then have an activity for the littles and also have an activity for their tweens and teens. I just heard so often that there was one or two kids that weren't involved in the family study because either everybody was little and they had one big, or everybody was big and they had one little. So it was kind of my goal to create a lesson that would combine and be for the whole family. That's kind of where my mission has gone. And for me, I love the scriptures. Like I have, there's just so much good stuff in there. And every time I read it, it's new. It's amazing. And I just really wanted to create that love for the next generation, to say, here's how it applies to life. Here's what these people are saying. Here's some fun ways to study. Here's some gems like chiasm and Alma 36. I did an activity for the teens just to show them, like, here's some cool stuff that's in there that you wouldn't know. Just that passion that I have for the scriptures, I just wanted that to spill over on somebody else.
I love that. Well, and it's nice as a mom have someone else be trying to put in that passion, because I feel like my kids hear it from me to death, right? Or, they're just feel like, oh yeah, mom, wah, 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 So
Yeah.
it's really nice to hear it from someone else. And I feel like I totally get what your friends were telling you, because I'm totally in that boat. I've got the 7 kids from age 3 to 19, and it's really hard to put together an activity that's going to keep those teens engaged, but that's also going to be really fun for the younger ones without somebody getting bored or somebody wandering away or throwing a fit or something. So I love that you're doing that. So awesome. So
Thank you.
is it just because the scriptures are so dear to your heart? Is this kind of where this all began, I guess?
Yeah. On my mission, that was the first time I really studied the scriptures. I had seminary and stuff, and so I already kind of liked the stories and stuff, but on my mission, I studied them every day. And I don't even know how to express like, it's just so fun. And so when I got home from my mission, I worked for myself, and I would end up doing study projects, and instead of working, I would spend 8 hours like figuring out the Book of Mormon genealogy and how it all fit together and who had the records and all of these things.
I love that.
So I don't know that I made a whole lot of money when I was doing that.
You know what though? I bet all those years pay off for you now, because you know it well enough that what you're putting together can be easier.
Yeah, like when stuff comes up, I'm like, yay, we're going to talk about this.
I've been dying for chapter 3 and 35. This is going to be great. That is so awesome. So where did you serve your mission?
In upstate New York, Rochester.
Oh, dreamy. So did you get to do the Palmyra area where they have the sites, or?
Yeah, so at that time we had 2 different callings for sisters in that mission area. In that mission, we called it full proselyting, and then site sisters. And I was a full proselyting sister. But on the 3rd discussion, we were able to take our families to the sites.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Yeah, so I was able to go there quite a few times, and there's just something about that area.
Oh, it's special up there. We did a family trip up there a few years ago, and I'm just dying to go back, because my kids that were tiny, I feel like are old enough to appreciate it now. And I just think we need to go back every few years, because it's just so amazing.
This next year. So this is like the perfect year.
Right? Yeah. We've got to go. Get all this COVID done. Let's just go and enjoy all these cool sites. No, I love that. I think that's such a cool experience that you had. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. So my cousin actually served in the same mission, and she went through and found out where Joseph Smith had these different experiences. So whether it was in the Sacred Grove or in his home, and she made a tour of scriptures that were, so you go on this tour and read the scripture where it happened. So when you go,
Yes.
contact me, and I will see if I can grab that from her.
That would be so, so neat. What a special thing. Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. I would love it. Okay, now we need to go next week. I'm ready. Let's do it. Oh, so tell me, how has this made a difference in your life, creating these Come Follow Me lessons and the life of your family?
So my life, that love of scriptures that I have, when I started having kids, it kind of fell to like, I'll make sure that I read a scripture every day, but sometimes it's just one verse. And so that like studying and really getting into it, I kind of lost for a little while with the intent of always coming back, right?
Of course, but it is hard in those young mom years when you're just surviving, it's really
Yeah,
hard to carve
yeah.
out time. You
When you
feel
get to
like,
choose between taking a shower and reading the
yeah,
scripture.
seriously, it's super hard.
So what that's done for me is that now I study again, and that passion has re-emerged in my life. So that's been really, really fun for me. And one thing that I noticed, there was a time when I was still creating Enoch studies, but but my husband would do the lessons because I was pregnant and I had a newborn. um, and I kind of missed out on some of that. When I started doing the lessons with my kids, I noticed that when they're coloring, then they would ask questions about what the picture was. Like Adam and Eve, they were asking me questions about what was in the picture, and so I could tell them because they were soaking it in, instead
Yeah.
of us reading the scriptures or something, they were engaged. And then so many of the lessons, they asked me to print off the pages. Are we having church, Mom? And I'm like, yes, thank you for the reminder. Let's do church. Um,
It's actually the best when your kids remind you so that you don't have to remember. I love it
yeah,
when that works out.
yeah, that is, and so church has kind of been in our life, and they see me working on the computer, and they're like, "Are you working on church stuff?" Yep, that's what I'm doing. Will you print that for me? No, you gotta wait till Sunday.
That's right. You got to get all that excitement
Uh,
ready. Can't do it
yeah,
anyway.
so it just, for me, I got to see how having any activity, creates more conversation in the family. It makes it way easier to engage your kids in the scriptures. We've read our scriptures to our kids at bedtime for as long as they can remember, and we have to bribe them to listen. We give them a penny for every question they answer right.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, it worked out really well actually, because they actually try to listen. Um, but they have to try to listen when I'm doing these activities with them. They are asking questions. They're engaged, and that shift just made it so worth it for me.
I love that. That is really, really amazing. So, who's one of your favorite scripture heroes? Is that a hard question with your big love for the scriptures?
That is a question. How much time do you have? No, I'm just kidding. So after thinking about it, I keep landing on Pehorin. So the epistles, I'm more like Captain Moroni, where I'm like, okay, if you're not going to do this, then I'm going to come and I'm going to bring my army and I'm going to force you to do it. And Pehorin, I mean, we don't know his like first reaction to the epistle, right? Because he had time to process it and then rewrite. Um, but his reaction is what I would want my reaction to be. I don't want to discount like that first gut reaction, but I want to then be able to take and bring Christ into how I then proceed,
Yeah.
And so he's just a huge example of like, yes, bring your army. I know what you're talking about. It's these guys. And
Even
like,
though
thank
you've
you.
blamed me for all these things that
Yeah,
are happening, I'm
yeah,
not even going to worry about it that you thought it was me because it's not.
yeah,
So let's get to work. I
yeah.
love
To be
that
able to
about him.
see God's vision through Captain Moroni's narrow vision. Like God said, take your army if the wicked are not going to be righteous. And Pehorn was like, yes, it's not me, it's them. Just his reaction was just so childlike, so forgiving, so loving. And that's, I'm a little bit fiery. And so that is one that I keep at the top of my mind. Like, okay, that's my reaction. Now where do I go from here? How do I move forward in love? So
I love that. And I actually love that you said we don't always know his initial reaction, because sometimes I think everybody in the scriptures are perfect, but maybe we don't have everything written what he immediately felt, but he was able to calm himself down and get in the right place, at least from what we read.
When you're writing your own history, you can leave out some of those things.
This is a lesson for you in your journal writing. What do you want to put in that journal? I love it. Do you have a favorite lesson?
So every month I have one lesson that I spend way too much time on. But some of the ones that stick out in my mind, I did one for the fall and the atonement, which is, it's the two pits, and it has Christ standing on one side of the pit, and then you cut out all the pieces and you have a character that you take on this journey of, here's the fall of death, and here's the fall of sin, and here's a bridge, and here's a ladder. What do you need to do to climb on the ladder? Some of those things. And it was just so fun. It's, I think it illustrates really well what the atonement, what the fall did, and then what the atonement did. Because I think we take advantage of the fact that we're going to be resurrected. We kind of take that for granted, but to see like these were real obstacles and here's the bridge, some of those things. And then who is stuck in the pit and why, and how do we get on the ladder? That one was a really fun one for me. And then Samuel the Lamanite.
My daughter's favorite. She's obsessed with Samuel the Lamanite.
Oh my gosh. So that lesson, I was super excited for it to come out, because right when I read the lesson, I was like, oh my goodness. Because if you throw paper weapons at something, right, then it's not going to hit them. And so I was like, we could totally make Samuel the Lamanite that you put up on a table or a wall or something, and then try and throw these weapons at them, and then see what your feelings are while you can't hit them. Right? What were these people feeling? Like they were trying to kill him and they couldn't hit him. And so my kids were getting frustrated and they were trying to climb up and hit him. I'm like, that's what they did. They tried to climb up and get him. Like it was just for me, it was just a great parallel of this is what happened. And this is how Heavenly Father was able to protect him. And so anyway, that one was a fun one just to see it happen when I was doing it with my kids, and I think that's perfect. A huge smile on my face.
You're like, yes, be frustrated. That's exactly the emotion we want right now. Oh, that's so great. I love that. We've done where you throw the marshmallows at them, but you're not supposed to hit them, but then it seems like they're always hitting them, even though they're not supposed to. Like, okay, this isn't really working. But the paper weapons, I need to go back and do that lesson. That's a great one. Do you have a recent project that you really enjoyed?
So we have a few things in the pipeline that I'm excited about. One, our conference colossal coloring pages.
Yes, which we loved your conference.
Oh, they're so fun.
That's how I found you. I was looking for conference stuff, and we had so much fun with your conference pages. So keep going about this. It's so much fun.
So I want to do those for holidays where family gets together. So especially winter holidays where you're stuck in the house.
Yeah.
And so those are some I'm trying to add in holiday and seasonal stuff into our subscription. And then there's some stuff like the Jaredite barges. Cool. There's one that I'm working on for November's pages actually, where you try and think about, okay, these guys were in a ship, not just a ship, but an enclosed ship for a year, almost a year, 344 days. What do you think they needed? Like, how do you plan for a trip like that? Like, even little things that they don't mention in the scriptures, like where do you go to the bathroom, and then what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do when you're done?
What do you do? What do you do? You like.
And they had bees. What, you're in a tight space with bees. What do you,
Oh my gosh.
how do you do that? Some of those things where so I have a bunch of questions, and then they draw in the barge what they think, how it was arranged and what people did and stuff. So that one I'm excited about.
I would not want to be in the barge with the bees. You'd have honey, I guess, but
how about if Jared and his family take the bees in their barge?
Seriously. Well, you get the bee boat. We'll take one of these other ones. Why don't we take the seeds boat or something?
The seed boat. Yeah, we'll take the farming stuff.
That doesn't sound too smelly. I'm thinking if we have any other animals in our boats or anything, that's going to be a little too much.
But can you imagine the faith that they had? One of the quotes that is with the lesson is they commended themselves to God. Like they got on the boat and just said, "We have no control. Like in your
this
hands.
Boat is going to be tossed up and down and around the seat, and there's going to be bees shaking up in our boat with it." I mean, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I just love we commended ourselves to God and got on the boats. But just that, I think in our society, we go to the grocery store and there's food already available. We like all of these things. We have a windstorm and then we have chainsaws to cut down the trees that fell. We have these things that happen, and because of how we live, they're tragic, but they're not as tragic as they could or would be for us to rely fully on God. And I just love like the idea of like, okay, we're leaving.
In your hands.
We don't know where we're going or where we'll end up, or if we'll all go to the same place. Every barge is going to the same place, hopefully, and then just say,
would that be a nightmare? They all float the wrong direction. One boat's lost on the way. Yeah.
Anyway, so that faith, I just think is incredible. I'm excited for that story.
That's going to be awesome. Okay, so how can we best implement this with our kids? How do we make the time to do this? That's the big question.
The big question, yes. And now with some of the areas, the church opening up, but primary still isn't, it's still a big part of life for our kids. So I'll tell you some of my tricks.
Yes, tell us the tricks.
Because even though I create the product, there have been times when I haven't done it. And so some of the ways for me to guarantee my success is, one, my kids are excited about it. That helps a lot because then they're asking about it. So I try to always make it exciting and fun. And then a couple things that I've done is I involve somebody else, so another family. Either like for a while when it was warm outside, we would have it outside in my backyard and another family would come. Because then even if I woke up and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this, I still got dressed.
You're committed.
Still got my hair done because there was somebody coming and that was relying on me. And so somebody else to help you move forward. One thing is I have my mom check on me to add accountability. So then I'll have her call and ask the kids what they learned that day.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah.
My mom would love that job.
Yeah. So that creates accountability for me because then I know she's going to call and ask the girls what they learned. Another thing is that I suggest is when you get the email, then you print it right away. Print the whole month. So if I had to print something every week, chances are I would print the first week and then not do the other ones. Mm-hmm. And so to print them all at once. And if you don't have a printer at home, to just forward the email that I send, or I guess you get some people get the email, but some people have a back office, and so they can just then download it and send it straight to Office Max or FedEx Kinko or Office or whatever. So just take that, email it to the print shop, have them print it, and then you can just go pick it up. But to do the whole month right there, have it printed, ready to go, so then you have the pages ready. And then another thing that I do is I print them off for my ministering families. So then while I'm printing it for them, then I print it for me, so then it adds another level of accountability. So those are some of my tricks to make sure that I
So when you're
get
doing it
them.
for somebody else, it totally makes you
Yeah,
remember to do it for yourself.
right. Because I'm
At least,
motivated by helping somebody, right?
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so those are some of the things that I do. And then of course, planning a set time. My husband and I have a set time that we do it. And so he knows and I know. And so we kind of help each other. So those are some of my tricks. But it's tricky. I feel like when the shutdown happened, I feel like I went to church to be edified, right? I wanted to go to sacrament and listen to the talks. I went to Sunday school to listen. And so I was edified and somebody else was teaching my kids. And now with the shutdown, we are in charge of our own edification and we're in charge of our kids.
And
So
our
like,
kids, yes.
yeah. And so it totally, all of that just changed. And so now we're not being edified by somebody else to fill our cup and to be able to turn around and teach our kids or support our kids what they learn in church. Like we're in charge of it all. And that can be really hard. And so to study yourself and or have a study group or something where you are being edified and you're learning the lessons so that it's easy to turn around and teach your kids, I think is another good idea.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Well, and if you're studying ahead of time and then you come up on the lesson, if they're having questions or something, you're going to be knowing exactly where they're coming from or knowing right where they're at.
yeah,
So,
but that's hard. It's hard to make that time to
yeah,
to study for yourself. And so study groups or something, or even with your husband or wife to get together to study beforehand, I think would edify you so that you can then turn around and help your kids. So
that's great. Okay, so where can we find you? Because we want to be able to get all these wonderful things.
yes, enochstudies.com is the website. So Enoch, ENOCH studies. And then we're also on Instagram. We have an Instagram page that is Enoch Studies, whatever the at sign handle. Our handle is Enoch Studies.
Awesome. And I'll link up to both of those in the show notes so that
Awesome.
our friends listening can just click right on there and get straight over to you. Well, and I want you to tell everybody about this really cool grandma package that you have going on because
Yes.
Christmas is coming. And so let's tell everybody about that because I'm super excited about what you're doing that way.
Yeah. So I wanted to create a way that grandma could get the subscription for her families without spending an arm and a leg, right? So right now the subscription, the family kit is $7 a month. If grandma got it for her 6 families, then that would be $35 a month, right? Did I say 5 families?
Yes, maybe. I can't remember.
So $35 a month, but with the grandma package, her first package is $5, and that's usually what we suggest her package, so she can have all of the activities for her primary or her ministering families or something. And then for her families, it's $2 on top of the $5. So every extra one she gets is $2. So if she has 5 kids, then she has the $5 for her kit, and then 2 times 5, which is 10. So then it's $15 instead of $35. Just a really fun way to get grandma involved. I know for my mom, she wants to be a part of Come Follow Me with her grandkids. And so I just wanted to help people like my mom.
I think it's so great. Well, and then they really know what they can ask and have relevant questions because you might know what lesson your families are on because we're all in that same manual following the same weeks, but you won't necessarily know what everybody talked about in their lesson. Right. So this really will help so much. And I think sometimes getting that dialogue going and the kids will love to show the little things they've been doing. I think I love the family connection with that because I think I'm also trying to figure out how do we do more family history, and part of family history to me is connection through our living family, so I love that one's really cool. And then tell me about your thing going for senior missionaries that you have.
Yes, so that's kind of our give back. So senior missionaries get the family kit for free for their mission. Right now it's set up for a year, but then you can renew and finish your mission with it. So I just wanted to create an opportunity, because senior missionaries, at least the ones in upstate New York where I was, they were in charge of the less active families. They were in charge of, if somebody didn't show up as a teacher, then they were teaching the primary. So I wanted to have a resource for them that they can just print it off and have it ready for everybody in every situation, So senior missionaries get it for free. There is a little tag where it says, "Are you a senior missionary?" on our website. And you click on that, it'll give you a coupon code. It'll ask you some stuff about your mission, and then give you a coupon code. So anybody who is out currently can use it, and anybody who's going to be going out can sign up, and then they get it for free.
So great. I love that. I think that's so neat. We support those senior missionaries that are leaving their families and serving the Lord. I think that's really cool.
So amazing.
So amazing. So is there anything else that you wanted to share?
So I have a coupon code for you, for your followers.
Thank you. Woohoo! Just for listening to this episode. Look, you get a coupon code too.
So it's for 30% off for a year.
Awesome. So cool.
For the family kit.
For the family kit.
The family kit and the grandma package.
Okay. This is so great. We're going to be so set. Our kids are going to be scriptorians. We're going to feel like we're doing our job and have some help, because it is hard. I feel like that's been the hardest part about COVID, is just on the parents feeling like they're in charge of all things that are happening right now. Everything is coming down to the family, and which on one hand has been so nice to get rid of all the extra, but then on the other hand, it's just exhausting and overwhelming. So this is great. And I feel like we're kind of getting to the point where we're still not having our primary classes or anything like that. And I'm realizing we need to start supplementing something on our own here, because just our regular family Come Follow Me is kind of losing the little ones a bit. So this is going to be perfect for us. Good. So, okay, well, let's go through, if you don't mind, our 3 helpful and happy questions.
Yes.
Okay, so I always ask these because on our Helping of Happiness blog, we cover family recipes and family travel and homemaking hacks, because these are all things that make me really happy in family life, is when I can eat, when I can go somewhere fun, and when I have help from other people on what the heck I am supposed to be doing as mom, because I cannot do this all on my own. So let's start out. What is your favorite food or meal?
So my favorite is massaman curry, which is a Thai curry.
Ooh, I love Thai food.
So it's their peanut curry. And I have a story. We went to St. George just a week and a half ago, and I got massaman curry down there, and my husband down there was like, "Well, we're going home. Do you want me to throw it out?" And I said, "No." I'm taking it home. I'm going to eat it for leftovers later. So it made the drive back with us, and then we left it in the car. Okay, this is going to sound terrible, but he brought it back in, and he's like, "It's a little warm. Do you want me to toss it out? It's probably not good for you." And I was like, "No, I'm going to eat it." And so I loved it. I love massaman or curry so much that I took the risk of food poisoning. Like, as I'm eating it, I was like, "This is so good. I'm probably going to throw it all up." Oh my gosh, it's terrible. It sounds terrible, but that's how much I love it.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't, because then you might not ever want it again, and you would be ruined, right?
That was something that was going through my mind as well, and I kept eating it. Anyway,
it's worth the risk. It's worth it.
That's it's not a very good illustration, but that's how much I love it.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the best trip you've ever been on, or your dream vacation, or both?
So I have, I am the second oldest of 6 kids, and I have 3 younger brothers that by the time I went to college were still pretty young. And so my favorite trips, I went on one, not on purpose, it just happened. I went on a trip individually with each one.
Oh, neat.
And those are the times where I was able to really get to know my brothers and really bond with them. And so those are close to my heart. So with my the oldest boy, he served in upstate New York, but another mission. So we went.
Oh my gosh, how
Yeah,
amazing.
I know. He went to Utica, I went to Rochester, which is now combined actually. But so we went on a road trip to visit both of our missions when he got home from his mission. The second brother, we went down to Red Cliffs, across the highway from Zion.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and just like we played hot lava on the way back from our hike, just being silly and fun. And it was just fun to just see him as a fun adult. So, and then with my youngest brother, we went to Havasupai, and it was just
Wow.
amazing. So those are my 3 favorite trips, and also very great areas if you wanted to visit.
Oh, yeah. Those are some great ideas.
Yeah. So take your brothers and get to know them while you go to Havasupai.
Yes. And if you don't have any brothers, take your sisters or your husband and your in-laws or whoever you can.
Exactly. So
love that. So cool. Okay. Our last one. Do you have a homemaking hack for us?
I do. So I use vinegar. So we have hard water at our house, and for a long time I couldn't figure out how to get it off. Like I was using razor blades and scouring pads and stuff that was ruining the chrome on our faucets and stuff. And then I discovered vinegar. So vinegar, I just soak paper towels in vinegar, and then I put the paper towels around the faucet or wherever the hard water deposits get bad. And then I leave it there for like 10-15 minutes, and then it just wipes off. It's like magic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do this in the shower too?
In the shower. So the shower is a little bit harder to put the paper towels up, but I still, I'll just come in and like put it in a spray bottle, and then I'll just spray it. And then when it gets dry, then I'll spray it again and let it soak with a spray for a few minutes. And then if you wipe it off and there's still a little bit of residue left, then I just do it again, just soak it again until it all comes off. There's no scrubbing.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing.
Anything that doesn't involve scrubbing, sign me up.
Yeah, and it's not a harsh chemical, like you don't have to breathe in anyway, that was when I figured that out, it changed my world.
Oh my goodness. I have like visions of like painter's tape holding my paper towels up next to my shower faucets.
That is a great idea. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to try that.
This is going to be our new invention that we have here. The painter's tape vinegar, hard water stains.
Take some fabric that I haven't been using and dip it and then tape it up. That's amazing.
We'll just have the whole shower covered with that. Be like a big drop cloth.
I'm going to try that.
Oh, we could put it in the bathtub, right? Because you'd have to soak it in something. How would you get that big drop cloth covered, right? And then your bathtub would have vinegar soaking in it, so you could clean both at the same time.
Yes. So
okay, we're genius. Look at what we're creating here.
It's so amazing. The bathtub, I actually, after I take a bath, I take a soak because I don't want like soap and shampoo to be in there, but I'll take a soak and then I'll put vinegar in the leftover bath water and let it soak.
That's a great idea too.
Wow.
Oh, my kids are going to be so busy working with all this vinegar. It's going to be great.
That's awesome. Yeah, put them to work. Teach them.
Oh, yeah. It's the only way to clean. Just make them do it. Oh, I love it. Lindy, this has been so much fun for me. I've loved talking with you, and I'm really excited. I feel like our family is going to be just happy and back on track with fun things to do and great things to put in our kids' minds, because I want my kids to be as excited about the scriptures as you are, because you're just amazing. I love your enthusiasm for this. I wish everyone could see your face right now like I can as we're talking, because it's like I can just see the joy beaming out of your face when you talk about the scriptures, and I think that is such a neat thing about you. So
thank you. Yes, I do love them.
Okay, so go follow Lindy. She's at Enoch Studies on Instagram and also enochstudies.com.
Nice. We do have a Facebook page. I'm not very good at keeping up with it. So if they don't have Instagram, they can do Facebook. Just know that I'm not on there every day.
Sounds good. We'll throw that on there too.
Okay, thank you, Hillary.
So I've got that coupon code for you if you want that 30% off of our Enoch studies. The coupon code that you have to punch in at checkout is HAPPY30! And that is capitalized HAPPY 30! And you can get 30% off when you go to checkout at Enoch Studies. I've loved having Lindy on so much. She is incredible. I hope you've enjoyed her as much as we have. And if you have enjoyed this podcast, please share it with a friend. Give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts if you can. And that would just be fantastic.